Okay, well, here we are, final run in the marathon. I want to thank, by the way, Zost for doing that amazing Super Metroid run that brought us over the 18,000 mark. And thank you to our wonderful commentators, Shiny Zenny and Mr. J Giggles, for doing fantastic commentary during that. Thank you to all the people who've donated during this, and to everyone who's helped out behind the scenes, and to everyone who watched, who helped us get the word out in various ways, and really just everyone who helped make this thing come together. And I especially want to thank the charity No Kid Hungry for the amazing work that they do. And I hope that what we were able to do with them this week is something that's going to help lots and lots of people, and that we'll be able to do this again in the future. But without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Davesterio, who's going to be running Final Fantasy VII Remake, 90% normal mode. Take it away, Dave.
Yeah, thank you so much, Feasel. Just want to say again, thank you so much to Feasel, SpeedGaming, for having me here, being able to close out the marathon. Like you said, we are at 18,000, with the goal being 20,000. So, what are the chances we could hit that 20K before the end of this run? We got 8 hours all throughout the night. Really appreciate everybody that's hanging out, sticking with me for the late night shift. Hope you guys are stoked for it, to see some Final Fantasy VII Remake action. This run is pretty risky. It gets pretty intense. Oh my god, the music. I hope you guys are ready for this. It's going to be great. But yeah, we are going to be playing on normal mode, which is actually considerably harder than easy. This run can be very lethal, especially with a lot of the things that we skip. And yeah, you guys are in for a treat. But without further ado, let's get started, alright? 3, 2, 1. Okay. Final Fantasy VII Remake. So, unlike the original Final Fantasy VII, this is a sort of like an action RPG. It still has elements of the original battle system, but, we are in a more free-form combat system.
You're coming with us. Nice.
I don't think so.
Much like the first game, we beat the first fight, we get to level 7. Just like the original.
That's that. Enough of this.
Alright, so these first 2 encounters, they're forced, and well, we're not going to be fighting every encounter. Pretty much, we're going to be trying to escape from as many encounters as possible. And as you guys can see...
Try harder. Nope.
Nope. All you do is just run away. And skipping tutorials, it's easy. All you do is press start. And for fleeing, once you leave the battle zone, you just have a certain amount of time that you need to be outside the battle zone, and then you'll successfully flee from the encounter.
Get him, boy.
So, with this combat system, you chain normal attacks with the square button, and you charge these ATB meters, which you can either pause time or hotkey moves, and you spend a certain amount of ATB points depending on what the move is.
Let's go.
And for that fight against the dog, magic pretty much, destroys the dogs, and you can then pelt it with physical attacks. A little bit of downtime here because I have to wait for the sequence to play out. So I'm gonna smash these boxes. You'll see these boxes scattered throughout the entire game, and you can get items from them, or you can replenish some MP. I'm not gonna be going for all of them because, of course, it does take time to swing at the boxes. But if I do have the opportunity to hit them, I will.
Think you can stop me?
All right. So this fight, we're gonna focus the soldiers. And then fire the dog to make it so it stops moving. We get our first stagger, which we will go more into that in one of the coming fights.
Not bad.
But essentially, you exploit your opponent's weakness to initiate a pressure state, and then you fill the pressure gauge when it's in this pressured state, and if it goes all the way up and reaches the end, you'll stagger the opponent, and you'll get a 160% damage multiplier. And we do have ways of actually increasing that past 160, but that'll come more into play later in the run.
See you later.
Come on, Cloud.
Pick up the pace.
Again, really appreciate all the good lucks in the chat. I hope you guys are stoked for the remake.
3, 2. Damn, I'm good.
Alright, so I should talk about Cloud's combat stances here. He actually has 2 different fighting modes. He's got Operator Mode and Punisher Mode, where Operator Mode is your standard, very quick,
He always knows just what to
like
say.
your quick fighting stance, where your moves don't do like crazy damage, but then you can switch into Punisher Mode, where you pretty much sacrifice mobility for damage. But also, another part of that is, if I'm blocking within Punisher Mode, I can kind of parry enemy attacks. That's really nice. But now we finally have Barret in the party, so we can get some long-range action going on here. Barret, instead of having different stances, his triangle move is called Overcharge, and it does a big burst of shots that dramatically increase my ATB.
Now for the real show. That's no die here.
I'm gonna kind of set up here a specific manner. I'm gonna Q focus shot and then move Cloud over here, because once that turret gets destroyed, these guys spawn in, these mono drives. Oh, that was nice. That third mono drive that spawns right where I am right now, it sort of just went into my my final slash. Also, the different slashes of your Punisher combo do different damage. The final one that you end with, the final slash, does really nice damage.
Not too shabby. You're
All
doing
right.
good, soldier.
Thanks, Jesse.
And it's more of the same. Come on then.
These lasers
Pretty easy.
don't like me. Okay, not bad. All right, so I'm gonna do my first menu here, where I'm gonna choose my spells to hotkey.
Now, on to the objective. Look,
All right, so this is gonna be like the first enemy that really like teaches you the stagger mechanic.
That hunk of junk is a heavy weapons platform. If we rush in, we die.
Is that right?
We need to hit it with magic. That should give us an opening.
That's your hard fast. Hey, it's not moving.
Let's pin it down.
All right, so also, you know, much like the original FF7, we have limit breaks.
Let's do this.
Enough.
And if you stagger an enemy, you actually you gain more on your stagger gauge or your limit break if you stagger enemies. So a lot of times in fights, I'm gonna be staggering enemies with specific characters, just so I can get limit on that character.
I mean your age, not your goddamn rank. So for all I know, a soldier's rank could be his age. Mm-hmm. Guess that makes you a 1-year-old, huh?
Also, Cloud and Barret have these focused moves where Cloud has focused thrust and Barret has focused shot. And both of these, if you use them when your opponent is in a pressured state, it dramatically increases the pressure gauge.
Hurry it up. Oh, it's pounding like a jackhammer.
And a little bit of movement tech that we have coming up here is I can lock onto enemies early and kind of fly at them. Even if I'm not going to do the fight, it just allows you to traverse across the battlefield a little bit faster. Alright guys, we got our first boss fight with the Scorpion Sentinel, also known as Guard Scorpion.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
So I'm going to try to take this first phase where it doesn't go on the wall. I'm gonna try to stagger it early and maximize my damage.
Hey, how the hell do we fight this thing?
It's got reinforced armor plating, but the internals can be overloaded. Lightning magic.
No other option, huh?
Also, the final attack that I can do here with Punisher mode, this charge attack, it adds a status called Berserk onto my character. And what that does is it'll increase the damage that I take, but it'll also allow me to do more damage. So I was sure to end that stage of the fight with 2 ATBs here, because there's a weak point on the back of the Guard Scorpion that I can actually hit with fire magic from the front.
Never seen this defense system before.
Thought you were the expert.
So we're gonna break the shield.
Brilliant plan, genius.
Gonna go on the wall.
It's my time to shine.
Or go down in flames.
Okay.
You're up.
Taking over. Another barrier?
Oh, another barrier. That's fine.
Burn. Damn it.
Come on. Oh. Hey, he's not playing nice. All right, there we go.
Hit it hard and fast.
Oh, you're in for it now.
Just shoot.
All right. This is kind of going off rails, but you know, it's okay. All right. I'm gonna wait for him to come back down. This little safety potion.
Let's do this. Focus and find a way.
All right, there we go.
Let's finish this. Now you're in for it.
Okay. So pushing the next phase here. I was sure to make it so that Cloud was the character that I was controlling at the start of this phase, because whoever you're controlling is who Guard Scorpion is going to target.
Watch the tail. You don't want to be hit by that.
All right, and then I switch over to Barret.
So, what do we do?
And after this tail phase, or after it shoots the laser, there's a very small period of time where it has a pressured state. So I'm gonna shoot a focus shot, and then bring Cloud in there,
Go. You're done.
and then I'm gonna cross slash.
Now.
That was a really good time to use my limit. It'll initiate the next phase really quickly. Okay. Now, final phase, I'm just gonna have Barret destroy one of the legs with thunder, and then, you know, pretty much kill it from there.
Oh, hell. What's it doing now?
An auto repair unit. Damn it. We gotta take it out quick or we're screwed.
Oh, I am way ahead of you, Murphy.
Let's get this over with. Calling fire.
All right, nice. That's the first boss fight.
Gonna hop in and read a couple donations.
Yeah, absolutely, Fiesel. We're just gonna be escaping from the reactor.
Okay. Well, we got a $5 donation from Trans Tabla, who says, "Love the cause and love Zosti." That was a fantastic run, I agree. And we have a $20 donation from Mike and I. Thank you very much for those.
Yeah, thank you guys for the donations.
Now, we'd like to point out that the two hardware prices we have, the FX Pack Pro and the Hori Hori Switch Split Pad Plus, is those are eligible all the way to the end of this run. So all the way through the end of the marathon, if you donate, you're qualifying for those things.
It's actually amazing you guys are offering FX Pack, because I just bought mine also, and my EverDrive for the N64 is also on the way. Really anticipating those things getting delivered. Amazing pieces of hardware. You know, flash cards are amazing.
Yeah, very useful. The manufacturer themselves, we got in contact with them, and they provided them to us. So thanks very much
Oh, dang.
to the EverDrive store for sending those out.
Lead us straight to Barret. Probably. I think I see an exit. Come on.
But alright, the reactor escape isn't too complicated. You know, we just fought 2 monodrives that go down relatively easily.
Let's go.
Um,
Let's go.
The final fight of the reactor is pretty tricky though, and it's got a cool strategy to it.
We're running out of time.
Shut up and climb.
Yeah, sometimes you get locked into like this walking state.
It keeps me
Like,
focused,
you know,
okay?
you'd think that I could just run to the ladder, but, you know, sometimes you gotta wait for NPCs to reach certain points, and it'll limit your movement speed. Alright, this fight, 2 soldiers and 2 monodrives.
They're here! Take them down! We don't have time for this shit! The clock's ticking!
Cool. 5 seconds is all we need. Deal with that.
Guess it's my turn!
I'll have Barrett take out the last one with an overdrive. And during the overdrive animation, you know, I move Cloud closer to the door so that I can proceed earlier and be ready to move.
You got that right.
But alrighty, so at this point, there's going to be 3 shock troopers that I'm going to be fighting, and I'm going to try to take the first one that jumps out this window with me all the way upstairs, and then I'm going to try to switch to Barrett. Oh, I need this guy to follow me. Come on. Come on. Oh, he wants to... Oh, he's going for Barrett. Okay, that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to go up here, and I'm going to switch to Barrett, which is going to... Oh, he didn't move. Okay, that's fine. So normally, if things go right, Barrett teleports up to you. Not the worst thing in the world. So like what you want to do with these guys is you want to hold your Punisher mode and then parry an attack. It greatly increases their pressure gauge.
That's that.
Alright, there's Barrett.
Don't overdo it.
Alright, so 1 final shock trooper now. Yeah, it can be somewhat unfortunate RNG if the first shock trooper just doesn't want to follow you for whatever reason. Alright, and with that, we'll be out of here.
That it?
Yeah, kind of shaky first reactor, but you know what? We made it. So, for those of you that may not be familiar with the Final Fantasy VII story, pretty much, you know, there's a corporation that is converting the lifeblood of the planet into electricity and usable energy, and we kind of want to save the planet, so we're a part of a group called Avalanche that is destroying these reactors in hopes to kind of prolong the planet's life. But one of the nuanced differences between the original and this one is the bomb that we used to detonate the reactor was actually a dud. It actually did not work properly, and Shinra themselves, the name of the corporation, they decided to kind of destroy their own reactor, and then they're going to place the blame on us so that, you know, they kind of instill fear in the people. And,
The air
yeah.
in here reeks.
they're not nice people.
Can't wait to get out in the open.
Alright, so that was actually chapter 1. This game is divided up into 18 chapters.
What is that?
And, the first reactor is the first chapter. And,
It's me. Gotta do
chapter
something
2,
about that.
you know, begins with just a nice walk-in section. Now, you're gonna see a few of these. But we actually skip some of the major walking sections, luckily, you know, a few chapters from
Just
now.
keep on coming.
We need to get out of this place.
Was it the Mako density? The primary explosive? The
Yeah, so somebody in chat is bringing up the fact that, yeah, Badger from, Breaking Bad. Yeah, isn't that, Wedge? Isn't Wedge's character Badger?
Pick me up. That's about as good a place as any.
Stand back then. I'll set the bomb.
Actually, I haven't seen Breaking Bad.
Can't wait to see you, Marlene.
Can't wait to take a hot shower.
But alright. Finally out of the tunnels.
Attention, all.
It's pretty nice with the way that you do cutscene skips in this game. I can preemptively hold down on the D-pad, and then if I press start, it's automatically gonna wrap the option down to skip cutscene.
We'll split up and shoot for the last train.
So skipping cutscenes in this game